Coast. We're winding up halftime here with the Denver Broncos leading the New York Giants 10-9. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. The Denver Broncos have been a hot offensive team, even coming into this game. They had scored at the end of regulation. Elway led them to that winning field goal drive. And in the first quarter against that tough Giant defense, quarterback John Elway hit rookie Mark Jackson out of Purdue, and that set up a three-pointer by the Broncos. Bill Sims then hit one of his two tight ends, Zeke Moat, for a touchdown, and the Giants took the lead for Bill Parcells, 7-3 after the extra point. A quarterback draw by John Elway, making 4 consecutive scoring drives for the Broncos. But after that, it was the Giants' defense against Dan Reeves of the Broncos. First, it was a goal line stand. Then with Elway backing into the end zone, it was defensive lineman George Martin pressuring him for the field goal that has pulled the Giants to within a point. In the first half of the game, the Denver Broncos had 2 missed field goals, 23 and 34 yards by Rich Carlos. So we stand at 10-9, the Broncos leading the Giants by a single point as we get ready to start the second half. Let's check in with our reporters, and let's throw you down to Irv Cross of the New York Giants. Irv?
Brent, a couple of observations of the first half. Those 2 missed kicks you talked about from Rich Carlos. You know, Giant kicker Raul Allegri told me that your depth perception in this stadium is very close. You can stand at the 50-yard line, and the goalposts appear to be at extra point distance. So when you have a short to medium-range kick, you appear to be much closer to the goalpost than you actually are. So you must kick the ball down the middle, not to the right or the left, as Carlos did. He kicked 2 to the right, and the ball drifted by because he's further away than they thought. As far as the Giant players themselves are concerned, they came into this locker room drained. I think this heat has really affected them. They haven't played in this kind of weather since September. They're going out now. There's not a whole lot of emotion, but they've got serious looks on their faces. Well,
Irv, I'll tell you, there's an injury report here from the Denver Broncos dressing room, and it's not good for Bronco fans. Tommy Jackson, their fine linebacker, will not play the second half. He went out, but without pads. He had an injury to his right knee in the first half, and it was all iced down. But let me tell you this. The Denver Broncos did not come here down at the half. They weren't crying about the second missed field goal. What they did was get angry. They started yelling going into the locker room. And Rulon Jones set the tone. He says, we got the Giants where we want them right now, and we're going to beat them. And that's the way they walked back out onto the field for the second half. Now to you, Brent.
All right, Will, thank you. Interesting statistic. 186 yards the Broncos accumulated against that Giant defense. The Giant average for a game is only like 187. Let's send you over now to the gentleman who set the scene for the second half. Here's Pat Summerall and John Madden. Pat?
Well, Brent, I think everyone who suspected and talked about this was going to be a blowout. We got a solid, good football game. It's 10-9, as you said. John, how'd you see the first half? How would you review it?
Well, I really think that the Broncos played better than the Giants did the first half. And I think that, you know, it's easy to blame the kicker. I would say that Rich Carlos got down there and he missed 2 field goals, and he did. But still, you know, the first drive, the first one he missed, the Broncos were down on the 1-yard line, first down on the 1, and they didn't get it in. Then they got down to the 5, and they didn't get it in. They had 6 downs to get it in inside the 5, and then they didn't do it. And then Carlos got it there. So I think combination of Denver playing very well offensively, but not playing well on the goal line, or the Giants playing very well on the goal line.
But for the 2 misses of field goals, it could be 16-9, and we have to go back and look at that safety again and the play that preceded that. That could come back to be a major factor in this game. It's 10-9, Broncos at the half.
It began with a plan and the determination to go for it. General Motors made...
CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl 21 is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz. Engineered like no other car in the world. Allstate, for home, auto, and life insurance. You're in good hands with Allstate. And by DuPont, better things for better living.
It's the NFL on CBS, and it's Super Bowl 21. And it's 10-9 between the Broncos and the Giants, and the Broncos hold at 1-point advantage. And we're in Los Angeles. We've saluted Hollywood. We look at the Rose Bowl sold out. 105,000 people. Anyone who thought this was going to be a dull contest was incorrect. Those views from overhead of Los Angeles itself and the Rose Bowl are from the sliced blimp. Super Bowl history, halftime leads, the average first 20 games. The lead was 10.7 points. Today it's only 1. Lee Roussan and Phil McConkey back deep for the Giants for Carlos kickoff. And it's Roussan outside the 20, outside the 30, out of bounds at about the 37 by Mike Harden.
As Phil Simms comes on, Pat, we looked at, he was also patient in that first half, throwing that shorter stuff. 8 for 8, under 10, 4 for 6, between 10 to 20 yards. So all his completions were in that area. Now, he only threw 1 in the 20 to 30, and none deeper than that. They were all incomplete. So he's been in that area from the line of scrimmage to the 20-yard line with all his completions.
Morris and Carthon behind Phil Simms for the Giants. Bobby Johnson goes in motion. Now Morris to the outside.
Joe Morris.
A gain of 3 by Steve Foley.
In fact, we talked about how they moved Carl Mecklenburg around, number 77. Look how he did it in the first half. Well, look where he lined up. He lined up in 7 different positions. Joe Collier, the defense coordinator, tries to put him where he thinks they're going to run. And look at this distribution all the way across the line. Most of them he lined up 7 times on the left side.
2nd and 7. Roussan is split out wide to the right. Mecklenburg stayed in the middle that time and now retreats in coverage. And Simms gets it outside to Maurice Carthon. Outside the 40, about the 43, a gain of 4. Stopped by Andre Townsend.
Yeah, we talk about distractions. We were talking about it at halftime, and everyone talks about distractions of the Super Bowl. I think one of those distractions and one of the tough things is the long halftime. You're used to going in there, just talking a little, boom, coming right and back out. Now, this halftime is double the length of normal.
3rd down and 3. The ball's at the Giant 44. Joe Morris. The handoff from Simms. Going for the first down, and he won't get it.
Joe Morris.
Lewis Wright, the first man up there, the veteran who has played and played so well for so long. They keep saying number 20 is going to slow down, but he hasn't.
Well, that's the thing that they said they had to do, is they had to stop Joe Morris, offensively number 20, so Louis Wright, defensively number 20, does it. As you said, he's been in the league 12 years. Now, that's a long time for Louis Wright, for anyone, but especially when you're playing cornerback.
2 feet short. Vendetta already on the scene looking at things. Will Height goes back for Denver. The Broncos lead at 10-9. Return 9 yards.
It's funny, the Giants came out in the first half, and I think that was a better approach. They came out, we're going to throw. We're going to loosen you up. We're going to attack you. Then they come out in the second half, and they're going to run.
Look out, Rutledge.
This could be a fake punt. It's a trick.
Rutledge with a long count, hoping they'll jump offside. Now Godfrey is the center.
They only need less than a yard, and he can run an option.
Rutledge, the quarterback.
And Rutledge, the quarterback, runs for the first down. Nobody jumped offside, but it worked.
Did you see the smile on Bill Parcells' face? Those are gutsy calls. You go for it on 4th down. Everyone wants you to go for it when you're a coach. But then when you do go for it, that takes a lot of guts to call it. It's easy to put in, hard to call. Jeff Rutledge, they get a double team on the nose tackle, and Rutledge just runs right to the right.
They got the first down.
Look at the smile on Parcells. I had the guts to go for it. You guys had the talent to do it. Which is more important.
They both are important. Rutledge, who did the quarterback sneak, got the first down. Giants at their own 47. Now with the regular offensive setup back in there. Sims back to throw. Up out of the pocket. Off to Morris. Or to McConkey. It was Morris. Mecklenburg got him down for a gain of 12.
Joe Morris is really known as a runner. I mean, he's more of a running back. He's really not a blocker. He really hasn't been a receiver. He said that for him to be a complete back, he said he'd like to be a better blocker and a better receiver. He said he's really not. He said, I'm not really a halfback. I'm just a running back. That's all I am.
Can't block when you carry the ball all the time. Roussan has replaced him now. He's back there with Maurice Carthon. Sims back to throw. Got some time. Down the middle, Roussan. Inside the Bronco 20.
Okay, that pass pattern has been amazing for the Giants. It's what they call a seam pass against the zone. What they do is they put a wide receiver down here, a back down this seam. If the safety goes over here, they hit here. Now what, they just get two guys streaking down the field together. You see the outside receiver go and the halfback. You see him now, that puts a bind on that safety. If he goes back, he hits Roussan. If he goes over, he hits Roussan. If he stays, he can get the outside guy.
First down, Giants at the Denver 17. Morris again. Around the corner. Inside the 15, about the 13. Hit first by Ryan. A gain of 3.
Did you see Dennis Smith come flying in there, number 49? Watch him right there. Carthon's going to block him. Watch Carthon go down, upend Dennis Smith. That play could have been a 5-yard loss if he makes the tackle. Good block by Maurice Carthon.
Gain of 3, second and 7. Giants at the Denver 14. Bobby Johnson and Lionel Manuel both split wide to the left. Sims looking in that direction and now to the right. Complete to Carthon. Knocked out of bounds at about the 14 by Wright. A gain of only 1.
Because you were talking about Louis Wright being a 12-year veteran and playing corner. Dan Reeves was telling us that he thought one of the best games he had was against Cleveland. 12 years, one of the best games he had tackling and playing the run was just 2 weeks ago. That's amazing that a guy can run fast enough for that many years to be a cornerback.
3rd and 6. Galbraith in the backfield with Sims. Conkey on the move. Sims to Bavaro, touchdown.
Says anything, Mark Bavaro, he hardly ever smiles, and I think we caught a smile on that one. Watch him, he started from a 2-point stance, he gave Dennis Smith a little push to the outside, then he went inside.
Allegre will try the extra point with Rutledge holding.
Hey, you go back on that play and you give credit Sims throwing the ball to Bavaro. You also have to give credit to Bill Parcells for calling a 4th down run.
Back in his own territory.
Hey, he's done an outstanding job, not only this year, but ever since he's been there, building a team.
Putting this package together.
Gary Markwright didn't turn his mic on or it didn't work. You got to hit it.
There's Phil Sims, who threw the touchdown pass to Bavaro. His first touchdown pass went to the other tight end, Zeke Mowat. Allegre's extra point is right down the middle. 16-10. Giants lead. The touchdown coming up. We have 10:08 left in the 3rd quarter. Sims to Bavaro. Slice Blimp, the sold-out Rose Bowl, Super Bowl number 21. The Giants have recaptured the lead. Their scoring drive, 9 plays, 63 yards. Sims, a touchdown pass to Bavaro, and Bill was 5 out of 5 on that drive. Allegre to kick it off. He'll kick off from the 40. And again, they're out to check on, as John Madden said a minute ago, Mark Bright's mic is not working. Back to the touchdown.
Let's watch the touchdown. See, they line up 2 receivers here. This is Bavaro here. But they want to get some movement, so they come in motion. Now Bavaro and McConkey are going to run down here. They get a kind of a big mess here. Bavaro breaks out of it and in here for a touchdown. They start 2 receivers on this side, 2 on that side. Now they have 3 on that side. And then you see right there, if we can stop it there, you see that they got him. They got him to the outside and to the inside, and Bavaro broke into the end zone.
Allegre kicks off from the 40, kicks it out of the end zone. Denver was offsides on the extra point. That's why he did it from the 40. But there's a flag down back from where he kicked, back at the 40. Allegre going back out for his tee. Giants offside. They'll do it again.
Well, that'll even it up. As you said, the Broncos were offside down there on the extra point, so then they got to kick 5 yards closer. You know, Allegre is down there, Pat. I don't know if he's doing an exercise or... You know, it looked like after the extra point that he limped a little bit. And it looked like he's trying to stretch out his leg.
Yeah.
Watch the extra point. It looked like here that he could have twisted something there. Because when he starts to walk off, it looks like he's favoring it. You see there? And then when he kicked off, he kicked it into the end zone, but he went down and started doing exercise.
Stretching again, yeah. Now he'll back up to the 35. Denver will have Lang and Bell back deep. Allegre lost his advantage.
You know, with all that paint there on that 35-yard line, he's trying to find a good place. See, that'll hold that T square. Because they have all the paint and stuff and aberration.
Kick off to Lang. He takes it at the 1. They would have been better off to take it like it was. They would have headed it to the 20. Byron Hunt and Tom Flynn down to make the stop. Elway.
You know, here's the Elway distance throw. We see it was 10 for 14, under 10 yards. That's the patience part we talked about. 1 for 4 in the 10 to 20, and 20 to 30, 1 for 1. None there, and then over 40. Now those 2 long ones, over 20 and over 40, were both those scramble plays. That's where he gets his big plays and his deep passes.
1st and 10 Broncos from their own 14. Giants 16-10 leader. Pass deflected. Looking for Vance Johnson. But someone knocked it away.
You see John Elway, he did a twirl on that one before he threw it. Watch him, he's going to spin right around. You see him, he goes all the way around, then he comes back. It did affect the linebacker. You see the linebackers start to come that way? Then he tried to throw the shot in there.
It was George Martin who got the hand up and knocked it away. 2nd and 10. Denver's at their own 14. Elway back again. Under pressure. One-handed catch by Vance Johnson. A gain of only 5, but that's remarkable. And he gets up slowly.
Hey, Dan Reeves is upset about something. I think it was that hit right there on Vance Johnson by Harry Carson. I think Dan Reeves thought it was late. Johnson makes the tackle, or the catch, and he's down. Then Carson does come in there a little late.
And they help Johnson off. 16-10 Giants over Denver. Here's why Dan Reeves was so upset.
You see, Vance Johnson is down, and then Harry Carson comes and gets him while he's down. And watch what Reeves had to say.
left, third quarter. Giants ahead by 6, and Elway with 2. Elway, incomplete. Wilhite, the intended receiver. And Horan will come on. Banks was the defender closest.
And John Elway is the guy that's going to have to do it for the Broncos. Remember the first play of the game, Elway ran for 10 yards. Since then, they've ran 11 times, and they've only gained 4 yards. So if they're going to do it, it has to be with the pass and with Elway.
Bill McConkey back deep for the Giants. His punt returns on the year. And Horan back to kick, left-footed. One of the areas where Dan Reeves thinks the Broncos have drastically improved since the first of the year. Good kick. McConkey, no fair catch. At his own 39. With room. McConkey gets it into Denver territory to about the 36 before he's stopped by Woodard. A 42-yard punt, a 17-yard return.
You don't think Phil McConkey is an exciting guy and an excitable guy and has that contagious effect on the rest of the guys? Watch him, he'll return a punt, then he'll go over and pick up a towel and start rooting. Hey, he's a tough guy. Watch him here, he starts the thing, waits, let a blocker come up, and take it right up the middle. He stays fired up.
He really does. The ex-helicopter pilot in the Navy still thinks he's flying. First and 10 Giants from the Denver 36, and it's Morris. Morris over the middle inside the Denver 30. Stopped by Ryan, but a gain of 7. Oates with a good block up front.
Well, the other, you know what happened is they got a kick out on Dennis Smith. Dennis Smith, the strong safety of the Broncos, is getting up in the backfield, but they're making good blocks on him. Now watch here, the ball's going to go to the left here. Now watch, you see the center, Bart Oates is going to come and lead. And see right there, he gets Dennis Smith. Smith was there, but he gets blocked and doesn't make the play.
Morris again, stopped this time by Hundley. A loss of 1 or 2. Bill Belichick, their defensive coordinator over on the bench, again riding upside down. Third on the Denver bench.
Well, that's the offense there. That's Billy Bryan, the center. Usually the center makes most of the calls for the offensive line. That's why the coaches talk to the center. He's the guy that has to call the defense and then call the blocking that they're going to use.
3rd and 5. That's Tom Flynn that the trainers are looking at over on the Giants sideline. That's manual in motion. And the handoff is to Morris. First down and more. Steve Wilson on a stop, a gain of 9. That's what they thought they could do. Run wide on 3rd down.
Well, that's what they were talking about, is they wanted to start, and they wanted to start passing, loosen up this defense, and then come back and then run later in the game with Joe Morris. And that's exactly what they were doing. They opened up early, threw the ball, got this Bronco defense, and now they give him a dose of the running back.
Morris comes out, 58 yards and 13 carries. Roussan in his place. Again. They run it this time with Roussan. Woodard on the stop.
Yeah, see, this is a big secret to this Giant offense or the success, is averaging 6.8 on first down. Now that means that you're coming up and you're second and short. You're second and 4 or 5, and then you can end up 3rd and short yardage. You can go for it on 4th. Everything is in your flow.
2nd and 9. Tim's back to throw. Again has time. To Manuel. Stopped by Louis Wright. Close to a first down.
The Giant offense wanted to give the Bronco defense a lot of movement because they like to change their defenses and shift. So they figured they'd let them get up there and then they'd give them a lot of motion. Just like Lionel Manuel came in motion that time and got that play. That's the plan the Giants wanted to do to the Broncos all day.
This guy, Manuel, although he hasn't been the most publicized individual this week, adds another element to the Giant offense and adds a first down.
Well, at practice on Wednesday, they said that was probably the best day of practice Lionel Manuel had all year.
First and 10 Giants at the Bronco 12. Giants leading 16-10. Clock running with 5:50 left, third quarter.
Carthon, the ball carrier.
Right side, 2 perhaps. Stopped by Jim Ryan again. And Mecklenburg.
I think when I had a run down here in a running situation, I think I'd try and get the ball to Joe Morris. I mean, he's been the guy that's been there all year and being able to get those first downs and those big plays and those touchdowns for me. And I think if I had a first down run, I'd give it to him.
2nd and 8. They're at the 10. I think you're going to get your wish right here. Or your thought. Oh, Sims is going to throw. Sims is going to run. At the 5, Ricky Hunley. And Woodard. But Sims got 5.
Sims get up there and smile. They don't like to do this a lot. In fact, Joe Collier said Bill Sims hasn't run much this year. He said he used to run a lot more. He said, what the heck, it's the Super Bowl. The last game of the year, we expect that he'll run with the ball.
He'll take off. I don't know if that's a smile or a grimace.
It started as a smile and turned into a grimace, like one of those headaches that you get up there. Migraine.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's a migraine. I think that's a contact.
Yeah, it happens to do that, you know, and it just stays up in there with you.
4:42 left. Giants, after Sims scrambled, took a timeout. Their bench and their fans are on the near sideline, and that's the noise that you hear right now.
Well, I think you're right. You know, when he scrambled and he got the cobwebs in his head, I think that was a smart thing. You know, take the timeout, let him get everything back together again, because what you have is a third down play coming up, and you don't want a woozy quarterback doing that.
3rd and 3. The Giants are at the Bronco 5.
There's Carl Nelson, and that looks like a tackle. See, you got that sweat going down there. There's wet. You rub off a little. You got that thing hanging off the nose there. Hair's all messed up. Joe Morris, he got the sweat going. Now, that was one of the things Bill Parcells was worried about, and I think the worry is, you know, about the conditioning and the guys being able to go for 4 quarters. I think if it is going to be a problem, it's going to start now. It's going to be a 4th quarter problem.
It has started, obviously, because the sun has gone away, to be a lot cooler than when we began. It was 77 degrees when the game started. Now, that's not as much of a factor. 3rd down and 3, the ball at the 5. It's Morris and Carthon behind Sims. It's Manuel in motion. It's to Morris. He won't get the first down. He got only 1 yard. Rulon Jones was the first man to make contact. Now, let's see about Allegre, who was perhaps injured before, but look at the play first.
Well, see, that's that counter play, the counter tray, where you Morris takes a step to the right, then gets his right guard and tackle pulling, tries to get in behind him, but he cut away from him.
So Allegre, who appeared to have some sort of maybe a pull or some kind of an aggravation when he kicked the last extra point and then kicked off, is back in the game and will try from 21 yards out. Now he seems okay. And the kick is okay. With 3:54 left to play in the 3rd quarter, the Giants 19, Denver 10. A lot of blimps in the area, including the Goodyear blimp. Super Bowl 21, looking down at the Rose Bowl. What a sight. What a sight. Padre kicks off, line shot, kickoff sails into the end zone to Lang, gets away from him, and they'll down it there. We talked about it at the half, John. There's Dan Reeves, of course, the Broncos coach, about what happens once you get inside the 20. If you come away from there with nothing or with whatever.
Well, we see what happens. Both teams have been inside the 20, inside the opponent's 20 3 times. But the Broncos only have 7 points, and the Giants got 17 points out of it when they were in there.
Elway and the Broncos with 3:46 left, third quarter. Take over from their own 20. Wilhite is the lone setback. Banks broke free. Elway got away from it. Pass incomplete. Steve Watson, the intended receiver. Nobody blocked Banks, but John Elway, a tremendous athlete, got away from him.
Banks is looking up there. He's looking up at the replay to see if they would show what he did wrong so he could correct it. They knew that. They knew that Elway was not only a scrambler, but he was hard to tackle. In fact, the last time they played, Lawrence Taylor had him 3 times, and Elway got away from him.
Out of his last 11, Elway has completed only 3. Watson wide right. Screen pass, Wilhite. Wilhite to about the 27-28, tracked down by Leonard Marshall and Elvis Patterson. Kubiak giving the signals to Elway. The last 4 wins of 86, that's what happened. That's where they trailed. That's what they did. So don't count them out. 3rd and 3 with 3 minutes left to play, third quarter. Complete. The intended receiver. Banks, the defender.
I'll tell you, that was a great play by Carl Banks. It was a 3rd down. Watch here, right at the bottom of the thing. There's 58 going against Mobley. Watch how he hits him. Mobley is trying to use the official there. Mobley goes in front of him. Banks goes behind him and still knocks the ball down.
Mobley saying, hey, look, this guy was on my back.
No, that was great pass defense. That was a heck of a play by Carl Banks. And Mobley tried to use the umpire, and they just sandwiched the old umpire.
Moran back to punt, and McConkey back deep for the Giants. He set him up the last time with that good return. Good kick this time. McConkey fair catch. Makes it at his own 32. The ball was up there for 5 seconds. So with 2:38 left to play, in the third quarter, it's the Giants 19, the Broncos 10. At the Rose Bowl, the Giants 19, the Broncos 10. The crowd today, 101,643, the 4th largest in history. Giants by 9. 1st and 10 at their own 32. Navarro again moves over and steps down on the right side.
Head running back.
Morris.
Joe Morris.
A gain of 1. Ricky Hundley on the bottom of the pile. Here is another thing that we talked with Bill Parcells about. And he said one of the things that the Broncos do best is strip the ball out of there. They practice that.
And you know, when you're down 19-10, now you really want it because there hasn't been a turnover yet in the game, and that's the thing that the Bronco defense has to go with. Make something that get the ball back to the offense and hopefully in good field position.
2nd and 8. Sims quickly outside. Manuel. Past the 50, covered by Dennis Smith. Super Bowl number 21, live at the Rose Bowl on CBS. And that's the situation right now. The Giants 19, Denver 10, 1:55 left third quarter. Sims has thrown 2 touchdown passes. George Martin tackled Elway for a safety. That pretty well covers what the scoring has been about. Again, Bavaro moves from left to right. To about the 46, Ricky Hundley on the tackle. Morris, Taylor, Carl Banks, George Martin over on the Giants sideline. Still work to do over on the other side of the field. More work to do. 2nd and 6. Sims is 7 of 7 this half. He worked again. There's one of the wrinkles. Going deep for Bobby Johnson. Phil McConkey now. McConkey head over heels at about the 1 or 2 yard line. A gain of 44.
And that's the celebration. Phil McConkey wanted a Super Bowl touchdown. He said it's a great play. We're going to get the touchdown. Right one, it goes down in the record, but McConkey scored a touchdown. That was off the flea flicker. That excites him. Watch him here. Sims is going to hand off, pitch out to Joe Morris. He spins, turns around, back to Sims. McConkey is coming all the way across the field. He catches it wide open. Now he sees that end zone. Make a fake, make a do, make a flop. But he didn't get in the end zone. It was a good move, though. Oh, it's a flop. Look.
1st and goal at the 1. And it's Morris. Touchdown, Giants. Seconds left in the third quarter, and Bill Parcells wants no early celebrating.
That's right. He told his defense, you got to stay fired up. You got to get it back.
Rutledge holding for Allegre.
Hey, on that touchdown to Joe Morris, Chris Godfrey, the right guard, made a nice block. Watch him. He's going to get Dennis Smith. Watch 61. Right there. See him pull him out, pulling out. Here comes Morrison behind him. Watch him right there. He gets the outside man, and Morris can get right into the end zone.
24 seconds then left in the third quarter. And the Giants increased their lead to 26 to 10. Sims, 20 out of 23, 226 yards and 2 touchdowns. And another one had set up the third.
I felt for a long time that Phil Sims was maybe the most underrated quarterback in the NFL. And I think this year, at the end of the season, this game, he's proven it.
When you got a quarter to go and plus 24 seconds, it's hard not to smile.
Yeah, but you still have to play that last quarter, and you still have to play defense. And those are the guys that are fired up anyway, and they're firing each other up.
Allegre's kickoff into the end zone deep again, and Denver will start from their own 20. 19 seconds left in the third quarter. Nose tackle Greg Cregan. And the Giant fans, at least, are starting to sing. Pocket, chased down by Marshall. The third sack of Elway. Marshall's second.
You see Lawrence Taylor celebrate over there? It looked like John Elway dropped the ball.
Did.
That's what he started to go back. He felt Marshall coming from his left. Lawrence Taylor was coming in there. Watch him here. He has the ball. He feels that pressure from the left. He tries to step up. He had pressure from both sides. No, I think George Martin knocked the ball out of his hand. Bounced up. And then Marshall got it. And then Lawrence Taylor celebrated. Like, Lawrence, I didn't get him, but watch this one. Oh, somersault. Up and down. Piston. Flop.
That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Giants 26, the Broncos 10. And we now pause for a word from your local station.
This is CBS Company. No matter how far you go, Goodyear takes you home. And by Unisys.
Denver ball. Second down. Flag down. Elway chased into the end zone after being sacked the previous play by Marshall. Just to give you an idea of how the Giants dominated the third quarter, they had 163 yards. Denver had 2. Lanier, the violator.
As we'll watch it down here in the bottom, you see, I think Lawrence Taylor causes a lot of penalties. You see guys jump before the ball is snapped. 56 causes a lot of that because the guy knows he's so quick, he's so strong that you have to be ready. You have to be set when he comes, so they set a little before he comes.
Second down and 25. Elway standing right on the goal line, right on his own end zone line. Retreats into his end zone. Pass picked off by Elvis Patterson. Stopped by Watson. Flags come flying. But the Giants will have possession. The first turnover today.
You know, that's the trouble with that patience thing, that short passing game. You can stay patient, but when you're down 26 to 10, you have to start making things happen. You have to force things. Then when you force it, that's what this Giant defense does. They pick it off. They make you make mistakes when you start to force.
Jerry Markbright, the referee. The Giants had 9 first downs in the third quarter. Denver had none. Jerry Markbright has had problems with his microphone all day. That's not ours.
But watch, we see what happens here. Elway has to get rid of the ball. He has pressure there. He's forcing it into that deep zone that we've been talking about. They get a big rush. Then the secondary just drops off. Makes you force it. Then they start to pick things off like Elvis Patterson just did.
So the Giants take over first and 10 at their own 48. Kamara is hit behind the line of scrimmage by Rulon Jones.
But Rulon Jones, he's the second man in, 75. He starts in and he gets on Billy Ard, takes him on, pushes him to the side, and then gets in the backfield. Now Morris was running a little delay there. That's why he hadn't been in the hole yet.
Amazing thing about, well, Rulon Jones and most of the Denver linemen, they're not that big, but you never seem to get a clean shot at them.
And they don't stay blocked either. You get a shot, then they bounce off, and they go running after you again.
Sims drops. Stacy Robinson, 20, 16. First down, Giants, they're moving.
You see the end of that play, Carl Mecklenburg came flying through that screen and tried to knock the ball out of Stacy Robinson's hand. Bill Sims throws some shot here. Good pass protection. See, he has a little gap there so he can step up, get a little more time, find Robinson outside. Now watch right at the end. Watch 77 come flying at him. Right there. They had a nice move after he caught it. See, it was more just stopping and then starting more than it was faking.
So, sort of casual, didn't it?
Yeah, like it was out in the park, you know, on Sunday afternoon. Here, throw me one. I'll stop.
Here at the 16. Morris, right side. Number 15, Ricky Hundley. Morris got 2. Hundley was the first Bronco there.
I'll tell you one thing, this Bronco defense does go after you. They do get a lot of players at the point of attack, and watch when they get there.
You hear everybody say when you talk to teams about Joe Morris, he can't arm tackling.
Well, you know, it goes back to that physics thing again. I got a lot of letters about, what power is and the formula and all, but in all the letters, one thing I say is he has a low center of gravity, and that's why he has so much power.
Second and 9, Sims goal. There'll be a flag in the end zone. Intended Bavaro. Louis Wright, the defender. Bavaro stays down momentarily, but he'll be back.
That should be more than a flag. That should be an arrest. That wasn't even close. Louis Wright knew that he was beaten, knew it was going to be a touchdown, so he just jumped all over Mark Bavaro. Watch him, he is beaten. Bavaro's behind him. Bavaro's going for the touchdown. Wright knows that he can't do that, so he just jumps on him, grabs head, neck, helmet, face mask, turns him over and everything. So what the heck? There ought to be a citation, like a ticket for a deal like that.
First and goal on the 1. Morris again. Not in. Ricky Hundley, number 98 again. With Louis Wright. No gain. Second and goal at the 1.
Well, it was close at halftime, but in the third quarter is where the Giants took over this game. In fact, look what happened since they went in the locker room. The Giants came out and had 200 yards of offense to Denver's 2. Whatever they did in there in those locker rooms at halftime, the Giants did it the right way, and the Broncos had a little trouble with it.
Second and goal then at the 1. Giants 26, Broncos 10. The eyes and the intensity of Joe Morris. Hartman was the man on the move. Sims has to duck under it and take the sack. Pushed by Freddie Gilbert first. And that's the first sack of Sims.
There's a fight down there. They're still going after it. Guys are hooked up there.
Ricky Hundley.
Joe Morris.
Third and goal.
Hundley had Morris, so he took him all the way, even when the play was over.
Wonder how physics would work on that.
Well, then it's low. See, Morris is still looking at him. And what do you want? Physics works. You see, that's the center of gravity. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
You get the speed and the time and all that stuff, and then right on top of the picture, you're going to see it. You see Oates there. You see some little kick in there. Morris wasn't even in on it. It was Oates and Hundley, and then Morris walked in.
Third. Then there's McConkey's touchdown. Him like he's a rag doll. Hey, I'm keeping this ball.
He's not going to fumble it either. Look how he's protecting it. You don't know what kind of hits you're going to get in celebration. He put look, he has both arms wrapped around it. And he grips it tightly to his body. Not going to fumble this one. You can't have this one.
Allegre for the extra point. Rutledge holding. Trying to make it 33-10. Flag down. The Broncos jumped off sides. I'm sure it'll be declined or maybe enforced on the kickoff.
There's Phil Sims. That's before the touchdown. That was calling the cadence. I think he's throwing it to Mark Bavaro.
He is.
He is. It hit Bavaro right in the face. And then McConkey came off with it. He was watching Bavaro all the way.
What a guy to get the rebound.
There's Bill Parcells. He'll take credit for it. As a head coach, you take credit for those that bounce off the helmet into the hand.
You have to, don't you?
Yeah.
10:56 then left to play. 33-10 Giants. Back at the Rose Bowl. The penalty was enforced. The Broncos offside. So Allegre will kick from the 40 in the direction of Gene Lang and Ken Bell. 33-10. Hit one of the Broncos on the foot. The Giants are down in mass. I don't know who came up with it. Hit Bell in the foot. The Broncos did. Bill McConkey. His touchdown he wanted so dearly.
Let's watch it here. We'll see Bavaro is here. McConkey's here. Bavaro gets bumped and goes in here. McConkey follows him like he's his little brother. Just horse around here, and then he gets the garbage off the tip. Watch him. There it goes. Watch that hit there on Bavaro. McConkey just following him in there. See, it's just nice to be hanging around him. Look what he comes up with. Touchdown.
When things are going right, they go right. Here's Elway. Gets it outside to Vance Johnson. That should be enough for a first down in Denver.
There's Sims after the touchdown. He looks, he wanted to celebrate with one of his guys, and he ended up celebrating with Dennis Smith. And then he just celebrated by himself. Then he found a guy. There's one of his guys.
Benson.
Matt Benson.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of best friends. They even lift weights together. Benson, Sims,
Burt. Here's Elway again. Screen pass, middle screen this time to Rugg. Stopped by Banks again, but a gain of 5. 33-10. The Giants over the Broncos.
I think over the long run, Carl Banks is going to be the best player in this Giant defense. I think he's going to be there for a long time. I mean, he can do it all. I mean, he can cover, he can run, he can tackle, he can do everything. And we were talking to Bill Belichick. He said he's also the hardest working of all our players.
Here's Elway out of the pocket, gets it upfield, complete. Mark Jackson this time. And now he gets up limping.
Hey, those receivers of the Broncos have really taken a beating. Remember, Vance Johnson got it by Harry Carson after he caught one. Mark Jackson just looked like he got it then.
9:40 left to play. Giants leading 33-10. Elway always dangerous. Will Height, the receiver, right at midfield, a gain of 5. Greg Lasker to make the stop.
They have to do it all with signals because the Broncos aren't huddling up now.
Going in a hurry. Pass caught on a rebound and a flag goes down. Jackson came up with a completion.
See the official with his hat off? I bet that means he was out of bounds.
Yep.
But you can come in, if you're out of bounds, you can come in and catch a tip pass though. See, but the hat off means that the player went out of bounds. Then he throws the flag. But what they're saying is that he can go out and then come back in. He can't come back in and be the first receiver. There he goes, he's out. Now he can come back in. Now, if that was a tip ball, he can catch it.
Well, that's exactly what they ruled after discussing things. Those Gil Mace had made the judgment.
Well, you can see the tip here. See, he can't come back in and be the original. He can come back in and catch a tip pass, and that's what happened.
Bounced off Lasker. Hand off Sewell. Blockers in front. Sewell for another Bronco first down and out of bounds at about the 28-yard line.
I'll tell you, there is some contact down there. Did you notice that sound that you hear? And this game's in stereo. So being down there sideline, you can hear boom, whack, whack, whack. But I don't know what it feels like in stereo. I mean, there's a boom, 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 around the room.
Pretty much the same, I think. Even in stereo.
How does sweat look in stereo? How does a chewed mouthpiece look?
In stereo?
How does spit sound in stereo?
Loud. Denver first down as Elway gets straight ahead again to Wilhite. That play by Sewell was their first rush of the second half. Now that's the second. Banks on the stop again, but a gain of 6.
Well, what the Broncos are thinking now is they just want to get one in quickly and be able to do some onside kicking and try and pull something out here.
2nd and 4. Elway fires incomplete. Intended for Kay. Just couldn't come up with it.
I know what Bill Parcells is thinking now. You're ahead by 23 points. You really got this game. You've waited all your life for it. Now you just want everything to hurry up. Hurry up. Get this thing over and let us go to celebrating this season. Because we never could all year. After every game, someone's going to say, well, how about next week? After this one, they won't say that.
The next thing is training camp.
How about next year, Coach? Can you do it again?
3rd and 4. Here's Elway scrambling up the middle. Got the first down. Collins on the stop. Elway got 6. But the clock runs now with just over 8 minutes, and now that's the figure. 8 left. Giants 33. Denver 10. The book on Elway.
Well, he had a great first half. They had the opportunities. We talked about it. They got inside the 23 times and only came up with 7 points. 2 missed field goals, but once they were on the 1-yard line and couldn't score.
Here's the reverse again to Sewell. And again, it's Carl Banks who makes the stop. 5-yard loss.
It's funny how much we've seen Carl Banks and not Lawrence Taylor. I think maybe they're running more at Banks. Banks is more involved in the game. But I'll tell you, he is a force, that guy. And he's not in the Pro Bowl. There he goes. Now he's starting to wave that crowd on. Look at him. He was a helicopter. He thinks he is a helicopter the way he does that. He thinks he's one.
2nd and 16, back at the 20. Elway up into the pocket, now down the middle. Elway stays on his feet. He's out of bounds at about the 12. Carson knocked him out of bounds, but he got 6.
You don't think he's strong? Did you see him with his left arm? He gave Elvis Patterson, who's a strong guy, he gave him a straight arm and got by him. So you have to respect this guy. There's Elvis Patterson, who's still down after that straight arm by Elway. That looks like a cramp, though.
6:47 left to play. It's the Giants 33, Super Bowl 21, the Broncos 10. 6:47 left in Super Bowl 21. The Giants 33, the Broncos 10. 3rd and 8. Broncos have it at the Giant 12. Up the middle is Elway again. Slides to the 10. That'll bring up a 4th down. Harry Carson there to make sure he stayed down.
Well, that's why he went down, because Harry Carson was there. Harry Carson and Banks were both standing there, and Elway had to go to the slide. Now John Carlos gets another shot at it. Rich Carlos gets another shot at it.
He's missed twice. He hit once from 48 yards out. Missed from 23 and 34. 6:12 left. Kubiak holding. Hits this one, and it's 33-13. 6:01 left to play. The Broncos have all of their timeouts remaining. 33-13. Denver, as John Madden was just talking about, taking the field goal to make it 33-13 now. They have everybody left. Rich Carlos for an onside kick. And the Giants handled it well. Bobby Johnson right there, the good hands guys.
Well, I think that makes sense that they did that. There's, we see the buckets. Now there's a third bucket this week. I think what happened, there's always been like a mother and father. Like this is a father bucket, this is a mother bucket, and since the last game, they had a baby bucket. So this is a baby bucket. So they got 3 now. There's always been 2. One's going to go to Parcells, one's going to go to another assistant, and one will go to a player later in the game.
I guess that clears up the question as to whether they're married or not.
Well, yeah, well, they got married. Yeah, they got married in that baby bucket.
That's Roussan over the right side and out of bounds by Steve Wilson. That's the bucket stat.
Well, you ought to, I mean, the bucket, you know, that's how big it is. I mean, 3rd year in the league, and then you ask questions like, is it married? Yeah, bucket's married. Bucket, you got a family bucket? Yep, got a baby bucket. And then brought the ice because we're in California. Family.
Heavy ice.
See, the baby can't sit up there with the mom and dad, though.
5:51 left to play. Roussan went out of bounds. 1st and 10 Giants. Roussan and Carthon are the 2 runners. Roussan sneaks over the left side. Rulon Jones on the stop. 33-13. The Broncos were here once before in the Super Bowl. Lost to Dallas. The Giants have never been in the Super Bowl.
Hey, that's a tough thing on that Bronco sideline. I think the gap between winning and losing the Super Bowl is as big a gap as there is in sport. The winner is a world champion. The loser just gets thrown back in with the other 26. There's no place for number 2. No one goes, we're number 2, we're number 2. Only number 1.
Ball's at the Denver 25. Carthon over the left side. Spins for maybe 2, maybe 1. Stopped by Jim Ryan. Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Super Bowl 21. Over 100,000 people. The situation right there. 33-13. Sims has 3 touchdown passes. The Giants have scored 24 points in the second half. It was 10-9 Denver at the half. Denver had some early chances. Couldn't capitalize. Jim Burke, Harry Carson, who will handle the bucket ceremony unless he's just a decoy today. 3rd and 6. 4:20 left to play. Sims with the ball. Sims down to the 10, inside the 5 to the 2. Another one of those that was not called, I'm sure. Nobody knew he was going to do that but him.
So you talk about a decoy. That time, Joe Morris was a decoy. The running back was a decoy. They started everything going to the right. Watch, they start here, fake this thing. Phil Sims fakes, comes back and runs this way. Watch these linebackers. Watch them start this way and not even see Phil Sims. Watch, the backs go that way. Look at the linebackers run over towards Morris. Then here's Sims all by himself with nothing in here. So he just runs right up in there where there's nothing in there and gets it all the way down to the 2.
And it's 1st and goal from there. Maurice Carthon and Otis Anderson. Now the running back. Anderson, touchdown, Giants.
Anderson, he's congratulating all the linemen. He's congratulating everyone. This is his Super Bowl touchdown. Traded from the Cardinals. Really didn't play a lot. He's going to be in the record book. Now, from now on, it turns into fun for the blue jerseys.
And you just hope it's over on the other side of the field.
On the other side, it just stays with you for a long, long time.
Allegre missed the extra point. And so the score remains 39-13 with 3:18 left to play.
Yeah, one thing about the Super Bowl, you know, the get a ring. There's a Super Bowl trophy. And that stuff all stays with you, but just the thought that you were the best, you were the champion, is the greatest feeling. And it's big today, and it's one of those things that is big when it happens and gets bigger as the years go on.
Well, the distractions increase, the demands increase, and I think it gets tougher every year to repeat.
Well, that's going to be the next thing. I mean, I think the Giants are going to win this. They ought to be able to celebrate. I've always thought they ought to give the winning Super Bowl team a sabbatical. They don't have to play the next year. They just go around, they do parades, they do this, they do banquets. They don't have to play, and then they come back because it is tough. That's going to be the next question when they get in the locker room. Can you repeat?
Then you're going to find out where the parade is.
They got a parade. I think it's going to be in the Giant Stadium.
At Giant Stadium, right. Bell with the return to about the 31. Knocked down by Andy Hedden. Return of 20. Again, those shots from overhead looking down at the Rose Bowl. From the darkness now, the sliced blimp.
You know, Pat, we had 3 blimps up there today. We had 3 blimps, and we had helicopters. But the blimps, it was an NFL record, Super Bowl record. Yeah, no, it's a world record. There were more blimps over a football game than any game in the history of the sport today.
In the record book. Here's Wilhite. 11 yards, first down, Denver. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the National Football League is prohibited. Elway, Wilhite. Giant territory to about the 47. Lawrence Taylor on the stop. Another Denver first down, a gain of 11. 2.5 minutes left to play. 39-13 Giants. Denver in the hurry-up. Elway threw a grounder, stops the clock with 2:20. In the direction of Wilhite again.
This is the type of thing that I'm sure that the Bronco players are just thinking, why don't we just run it out, get this thing over with. The Giant players are probably thinking the same thing.
Probably.
I wonder what the one guy, did you see number 36, Mark Haynes, was sitting there on that Bronco bench. Of course, he was traded this year from the Giants to the Broncos. Where he is playing in the Super Bowl for the Broncos against his old teammates.
2nd and 10 outside from Elway. Again, intended for Wilhite. There's Mark Haynes.
Yeah, that has to be a tough thing that you're on one team and you're playing your old teammates who you were around when they were building. They have to be all your friends, guys like Brad Benson there.
That's one of the good things about this being the last game of the season. He's got a chance for his nose to get well.
I think Carson threw a fake to the bucket. Seeing Jim Burt there, I think they're starting to plan their ceremony. Not doing it, just planning it now.
Elway up into the pocket, out of the pocket, down the middle. Pass caught by Vance Johnson, touchdown. What a heck of a catch and what a heck of a throw by Elway. Kenny Hill and Herb Welch both back there. 46-yard touchdown pass.
The Broncos thought they were going to be able to do this. They just hoped it would come a little early. You know, that ball control thing, then go for a couple scrambles and try and get a deep one later. See, Elway can buy time. He just steps up, moves to the left a little, and then he just uncorks this thing down here to Vance Johnson. There, Herb.
Ooh.
Herb Welch didn't even see that thing coming. It just went right over his shoulder.
Just heard it whistle by. Carlos for the extra point. And 47-yard touchdown pass from Elway. makes it 39-20 with just 2 minutes and 6 seconds left to play. That tells you something, doesn't it? Tonight on CBS, the premiere of Hard Copy from the creator of Murder, She Wrote. Phil Simms has been named the game's most valuable player. And Simms gets the bucket.
Simms got the first bucket. Yeah, there was a player bucket to be decided later. Simms got it. Now, we still got 2 more buckets. I think we know one's is a Bill Parcells bucket, and I think the other one is going to be another coach's bucket. Look who goes against it. 2 offensive linemen. Bart Oates, Brad Benson, whap, on the quarterback, who's the MVP.
Again, the Broncos shoot for the onside kick, and it doesn't work. And the Giants come up with the ball. Zeke Moat this time. 2:03 left to play.
I don't think Simms can go in and play offense now.
Look at this.
No, he weighs like 5 pounds more. They have to put Jeff Rutledge in there. Simms said, I can't play. Ball would just slip out of my hand. I know what he's saying. He's saying it's cold.
There's Rutledge.
Well, the quarterback can't play when you get the bucket.
Plus you're cold.
Rutledge says, what a way to get in a Super Bowl. The starting quarterback gets the bucket, and I got to go play.
Rutledge was in one before when he was with the Rams.
Well, he was in one today. Remember the 4th down?
Yeah.
Where he picked up the first.
Yeah.
That I think was a big, big play and a turning point in this game.
That's Tony Galbraith with the ball. Stopped by Andre Townsend. Think Burt's coming back in?
Oh, he looked like he got a bucket.
That's the first time he's been able to lift his arms all year. 39-20. The Giants lead Denver.
Here he comes.
That's a super party animal. His name is Bud McKenzie. Bud McKenzie. A real hot night and a cold Bud Light puts him in a party frenzy. He's Bud McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
That's Spuds. He is the party.
The Ghost Buds go.
It's been the NFL on CBS, and this has been Super Bowl number 21. The Giants' year. Rutledge. Handoff to Galbraith. And the clock runs now with 1:45 left. Ricky Hundley on the stop. Carson has changed shirts and is in the security uniform now. That's the yellow jacket that security people. And there it comes.
Well, there's 2 kinds. There's plain water and there's the sticky stuff. And when it has color in it, it's sticky. And I'll tell you, Bill Parcells loves this one.
Rutledge just kneel. He got another one. They washed out the sticky stuff.
Well, a Super Bowl is worth a double bucket. It really is. Look, he's saying, hey, is there any more there? You guys got any more? Now he looks at the clock because he's looking up there to see how long he has to stay there. He thought it was all over. And I'll tell you, he got the big one there.
Did he ever? That looked like he was going on a honeymoon somewhere. With that waterfall. Carson. Who's done it all year. Don't forget, stay with us. We'll go to the locker rooms of both teams. Meet the outstanding players, the most valuable player again, Phil Simms. The trophy presentation by Commissioner Rozelle. And the heartbreak in that locker room. No matter been a great year in Denver. Doesn't show right now, does it?
Well, the big thing is, you know, and they're all going to say it, it's not getting to the Super Bowl, it's winning the Super Bowl and being the champion. And the difference in the feelings, I mean, the Giants are as high a thrill and as big a thrill, as emotional as you can ever get in sport. And I think the Broncos are the opposite side of that. There's
Jim Burt and his son.
You talk about a look-alike. That kid's playing nose tackle in kindergarten. He goes one-on-one. Look at the size of that guy. Look, he's going nose to nose, head to head.
Like he could wear the same jersey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they butt each other. That's how they say good morning. They give each other a butt. The defensive coordinator in Burt, Bill Belichick. He's getting it there. He might not come out of that hug.
John Landetta's got a ball. Going to take away with him.
Probably be practicing punting tomorrow.
The most valuable player, Phil Simms.
And on his left, Ron Earhart, who's the offensive coordinator, who did an outstanding job.
Really?
Giant offense, you know, because they had the injuries, they had all that trouble early, but got them through that so they could have that strong finish.
56 seconds remaining. Galbraith tries to get around to the outside. Rulon Jones calls the timeout. Simon Fletcher made the tackle with Rulon. That's all the timeouts for Denver. Coming up next, again, a reminder, the Super Bowl today, the post-game show, the presentation of the Vince Lombardi Trophy, interviews with the winners and losers, and all the jubilation and sadness that goes to both locker rooms. Tom Jackson, who was injured, his knee, probably his last year. He's, I think, having second thoughts about his retirement with a quarterback, John Elway.
Well, Tom Jackson is the real leader of this team. I mean, he's the guy who gives the spirit and the life and gets everyone up. And, you know, I think there he was just trying to get John Elway up. You know, and say, hey, you did what you had to.
There's Greg Lasker, Jim Burt. He looks full-grown without the pads, doesn't he? Raul Allegre with him.
Well, the Giants moved up here on Friday night, and Jim Burt was complaining to Bill Parcells, we need a weight room. You got to find us a weight room. He had to lift weights Friday and Saturday.
Leonard Marshall must have made a visit to the weight room.
Leonard just busted right out of that T-shirt. He just blew the middle out of it.
Bill Collier, who's done such a great job with this Denver defense. Fourth down. Rutledge keeps it. Rutledge is down. The Broncos will take over. Stopped by Rulon Jones. Clock will stop on that change of possession with 44 seconds remaining.
Yeah, Big Leonard, he just did blow part of that thing. It just blew right out of the T-shirt.
In the Giant locker room waiting, the president of the Giants, Wellington Mara, there to accept the trophy and the accolades that go with this Super Bowl championship. It's been a long time. Kubiak is the quarterback now. They're always through. Kubiak middle. Broncos out of timeouts. When Sampson made the catch, clock continues to run, a gain of 8. There are a lot of people who deserve a lot of credit on both these teams. Wellington Mara, you saw, the Broncos and their organization, Tim Mara, Bill Parcells, George Young, the whole group, Dan Reed.
What was that one? I didn't hear that one.
I didn't either. 12 men on the field, I think.
Well, they all want to get on just to be on the field, you know, to play, get on the field. Lendetta may run in there and play defense. You know, other guys like George Martin and Harry Carson, guys that have been around there, Brad Benson, for a long time, been through the bad years, to go through that, stick with it, and come up to today, has to be a special day for everyone, but for those guys, I think it really means something. More. Bigger.
I think, John, when you go back and look, we have an opportunity maybe to sort of reflect on the early part of the game. The Broncos got there and didn't get the points. I think that has to be something that they'll be thinking about a long time.
Well, that was a big part of this thing, and then that halftime, I mean, the way the Giants went in and came out in the second half and just dominated and took over that game in the third quarter. And then with this defense, this great Giant defense, when they get ahead, boy, they just smother you. They make you play uphill, and they're just playing downhill on you and knocking you out. Next thing they're trying to figure out there is who's going to carry the coach off. See, they're planning. Brad Benson was back there planning. Yeah, we know Jim Burt won't. He already has something to carry off there.
Here's Kubiak out of the pocket. And Sampson scampers out of bounds, stops the clock, a gain of 11. Broncos keep hanging on and hanging in.
The fans are booing that one. They want the game to be over and the celebrating to start.
I'm amazed as you look around the Rose Bowl, nobody's left. The place is still full.
I tell you, this is a great place for a football game. And you know, and the weather's nice, and it's a nice day, and, you know, you're enjoying, and it's a happening, and you're there, and, you know, to go there and not see it to its finish, you know, doesn't make any sense either. This place is going to be packed. Getting out, you can't get out anyway.
You might as well stay, I guess. Kubiak down by Dorsey. And Pepper Johnson. And Eric Howard. And Parcells is up on the shoulders of the offensive lineman.
He's saying, not yet. It's okay, Bill. It's okay. You got it.
John?
I'll tell you, he feels great. This is as good as it gets. Doesn't get any better than this. And the great thing about it, it lasts forever. It's not something that's not there tomorrow.
You can never take it away.
Well, they have a net, you know, that's the stomp and grind.
Pepper Johnson and William Roberts.
And they have a name. And go right in the middle of the field and do it. You know, they say it's business. They talk about, you know, this and that, the business, the agents, and it's right. When you're out there and this is happening, it's a game. And it's fun, and it's playing, and it's kids.
It's grown kids. McConkey, who got his cherry touchdown.
They never wanted to end. Now, if I had it to over again, I'd just stay out in the field. I wouldn't get on. And that's what Phil McConkey's thinking. I want to stay out here.
Rutledge with a football under his arm, and that, as you said, was indeed a key play. Wellington Nara in the middle of the team. Parcells. Well, John Madden and I would simply like to say we enjoyed it, and thank you. The final score, the Giants 39, the Broncos 10. Stay tuned for the post-game show and the presentation of the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Also interviews with the losing and winning team. That's all coming up on the post-game show. CBS Sports coverage of Super Bowl number 21 will continue after after this message and a word from your local station.
Is sponsored by the 1987 German-engineered Volkswagens and your Volkswagen dealers. U.S. Sprint, where every fiber optic call will sound like you're right next door. And by IBM.
The celebration going on now surrounding Jim Burt as he attempts to rejoin his teammates down here in the victorious locker room area. And now it is time to present the Vince Lombardi Trophy for this great season-end performance, not only by Burt, but the entire New York Giant football team. And with me is the Commissioner of Football, Pete Rozelle, and one of the co-owners of the New York Giants, Wellington Mara, and their outstanding coach, Bill Parcells. Commissioner, you make the presentation.
Well, I'm very pleased to congratulate Wellington Mara, the president of the Giants, and also the president of the National Football Conference. Well, your father, Timothy J. Mara, founded the Giants in 1925. In that first season, you were a 9-year-old ball boy. And ever since that time, I think the Giants have been both the business and the love of the Mara family. Bill, all I can say is I'm sure you will reject it, but you're this year's NFL Genius coach. President Reagan has been watching, and he asked me to advise you that at your convenience, he'd like to have the whole Giant squad at the White House. Well, congratulations.
Wellington, your thoughts now.
Well, Brent, 2 weeks ago, I told Virginia McCaskey that if there were words to express my opinion, I didn't know them yet. And I'm not any smarter today than I was then. But I'm very proud to represent the great bunch of men, our coaches and our players. And I'm very happy to accept this in their behalf in recognition of the effort and the achievement that they accomplished by their effort this year. Bill, take it away.
Coach. Great moment for you, Bill, and I have to harken back to the third quarter. It was 4th and 1 at midfield. There are a lot of coaches who would have said, let's punt it. I've got a great punter and a tremendous defense. You decided to gamble at that moment in this game. Tell me about it.
Well, it was about 2 feet, and it's something we've had all year, Brent. And, you know, you're trying to win the game. This is for the World Championship, and, you know, it's not for faint-hearted people, so you got to take your shot. And, you know, it just paid off. I have a lot of confidence in our guys. When I challenge them with that kind of call, they try to make the play. They made every one of them we tried this year.
Bill, did you do anything differently when you saw that Phil Simms had such a hot hand here today?
No, but I'd just like to say that I think that ought to dispel any myth about Phil Simms, because I'll tell you, he was absolutely magnificent today. Absolutely.
The best game played in a Super Bowl a long time by a quarterback. You'd have to harken back to the performances of a Terry Bradshaw.
Well, that might be the best game the quarterbacks played, and you might count all the games for this year.
Now, coaches have had so much trouble repeating, coming back again. I hate to yank you into the future, but what will you tell this group of athletes to try to keep their mind focused in on winning again?
My guys got a good work ethic. They're dependable. They're reliable people. And I think the challenge will be to, you know, to see what we can do and maybe separate ourselves from some of those other great teams. If we can come back and keep competing the way we have, you know, I think we'll be competitive for a while.
Congratulations, Coach. You did a magnificent job. All right. And our Super Bowl today, post-game festivities will continue from the New York Giant locker room in just a moment. The Giants locker room. The man who made it work, Phil Simms. He's with Irv Cross. Let's go to Irv.
You know, Brent, Phil Simms threw 11 consecutive receptions, setting a Super Bowl record. Of course, you did everything well, Phil, your MVP. Did you feel like you could have gone 100% today?
Yeah, I did. I just felt like when we were warming up, I just told everybody, I said, I got it today. You know, I was throwing the ball real well. And, you know, we had a lot to prove our offense coming in here because people didn't say anything about us all week. And I think everybody thought our receivers couldn't be a part of this game. And we had something to prove, and we talked about it all week. We were going to come out of here running, and we were just going to see if they could cover us. And the receivers, everything, the game plan was terrific. It really was.
Well, what was the difference in the first half and the second half? Of course, you guys didn't score against the ball the first time we played them in New York, but you were a completely different team in the second half.
Well, today in the second half, you know, in the first half we moved it every time. I just had a breakdown a couple times and just missed completing big passes. And, you know, we stayed with the same stuff and we just got it going and we hit a few big plays. And, you know, sometimes you get it going in this league, it's hard to stop it. And that's the way we were today.
Congratulations, Phil. Super Bowl 21's most valuable player, Phil Simms. Brent.
All right, Irv, the other co-owner of the Giants and a man who was instrumental in helping bring George Young to the franchise is Tim Merritt. Tim, you had to turn this group around. There were some lean times. Your reflections.
You're right, Brent, and I'd like to take this opportunity on behalf of my mother and my sister and myself to congratulate the players, congratulate the assistant coaches, and to congratulate the greatest paid coach the Giants have had in my lifetime, Bill Parcells, and to thank this man right over here, George Young, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have done this today. And I'm very happy for all our fans because they deserve it. Thank you, Brent.
Thank you. George, your feelings now. This is such a great moment for you. You helped put this team together.
Well, Brent, I'm so happy for both sides of the Marrow family because they gave me the support to try to help Bill Parcells do the wonderful job he's done and how well the players have done. We have great players and great support from the owners. What else can you say? And I'm very happy, really, to see the happy faces of the Giant fans because they've supported us so much for so long.
Well, George and Tim, I don't want to sensationalize the point, but nor do I want to leave without referring to it. And that's the fact that Wellington and Tim do not get along, but the fact remains. They kept the focus on winning football games. They got the job done this year, and they deserve to be acclaimed for that. We will continue with the Super Bowl Today postgame show in just a moment. Thank you.
This is CBS.
Right. Thanks, Rob. The silver bullet.
Hey, you're Don Adams, right?
Yes. One Coors Light, please.
Would you believe 2 Coors Lights?
Great.
Ring, ring. Hello? It's for you, Don.
Terrific.
Thanks. Mind if I join you?
Mind if I pour?
Not at all. Missed it by that much.
There's no slowing down with the silver bullet tonight.
Just did.
If you grew...
Colleague Will McDonough in the Bronco locker room. Let's go to Will.
Brent, thanks very much. Dan, it looks like he had a great opportunity in that first half to put this ball game away.
Well, Will, first of all, I'd like to congratulate the Maras. George Young, Bill Parcells, the entire coaching staff, and a great football team, you know, for winning the Super Bowl. They certainly played a great football game. The first half, we just didn't, you know, we should have scored about 10 more points at least in the first half. And we knew going into the ball game, if we didn't take advantage of every opportunity we have, we'd be in, you know, tough shape. And we missed a couple of field goals. We got first and goal to go on the one and don't score. And so that really was disappointing coming into the half, but we still had the lead.
In the second half, they just took the game away from you.
Well, they did. The field position, you know, in the third quarter really killed us. We had the ball backed up, I think, on a 15-yard line about the first 3 times we touched it. They keep us from making a first down. They get great field position, and their offense stuck it in the end zone. We knew going into the ball game, or felt like going into the ball game, we couldn't get in a scoring contest with them because their defense is a 2-minute defense all the time, and we just didn't have enough to keep it interesting there in the third quarter.
Danny, congratulations on a great year. Let's go back to Brent.
All right, well, Coach Reeves alluded to that defense, and 2 of the key members are right with me. The youngster, who is destined to become one of the best in the NFL if he keeps playing at this rate, Carl Banks. Carl, the goal line stand, the third down play, you had a huge hand in it. Tell me about it.
Well, it was a key play for us, and the key to making the play was to get penetration. And I got down in 3-point stance, and I said, hey, I got to get in the backfield because they are slashing runners, and they want to hit it quick up into the hole. So it was 2 tight ends, and I got in between the both of them, and I just darted in the backfield.
All right, Carl, and of course, George Martin, he scores more points than any defensive player in history. George, the safety, you scored a touchdown against him in game 1, but tell me about the safety today.
Well, first of all, Brent, I'd just like to sincerely thank Jesus Christ for being a part of my life and thanking all these guys for making it possible. The safety was a little bit of my trickery that I incorporated. I called to my defensive tackle, Eric Howard, and I told him that I was going to give him a dummy call and to make the offensive tackle think we're going to run a game. And I faked inside, and he bit on it all the way. And then I came outside, and there was Johnny Elway out there, and I just wrapped him up and scored another 2 points.
Was it a physical football game? How would you characterize the play out there on the field, George?
I think initially it was very physical on us. It was very draining and taxing because we weren't accustomed to the hot weather. But after the second half, we came out and made some obvious adjustments, and